Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. On today's program, Dr. Dennis Goodman joins us. He is a cardiologist, and he's written a wonderful book, Magnificent Magnesium. If you're not on magnesium supplementation yet, you need to be. And today's program will help you understand why. The forgotten mineral magnesium. Fascinating topic today. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's go to our news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. The psychological side effects of antidepressants may be worse than previously thought. New research reported in Psychiatry Research evaluated over 1,800 patients who had all taken antidepressants for at least 5 years. Each study subject completed an online questionnaire which asked about 20 adverse effects related to antidepressant therapy. They found psychological side effects were common. 52% reported feeling not like myself. 42% reported a reduction in positive feelings, 62% reported sexual difficulties, 60% reported feeling emotionally numb, and 39% reported caring less about others. Folks, this is most troubling. The study also found over 50% of the study subjects ages 18 to 25 reported they were plagued by suicidal feelings while on antidepressant therapy. 55% overall reported drug withdrawal symptoms if they missed a dose or ran out of medication. Now, we have known for some time now that antidepressant medication can cause headaches, weight gain or loss, insomnia, and a general sense of detachment from reality. Suicide has also been linked to antidepressants, especially in adolescents and young adults. But as what is most shocking and revealing to this reporter is the sense of caring less for others and a feeling of emotionally numb on these medicines, as these types of feelings can lead to violent and aggressive behaviors directed not only at family and friends, but at total strangers. Now, it's no secret that those who perpetuated the tragedies at Columbine High School, Virginia Tech, the Navy Yard, and many others were all taking or recently stopped taking antidepressant medications. Folks, 1 in 10 Americans are taking these medicines, and they are often inappropriately prescribed for feelings of sadness, loneliness, and even shyness. The practice continues because, as this study found, 4 out of 5 who take antidepressants report they help with their original problem. But also, as this study found, almost 4 out of 5 who take antidepressants develop other psychological problems as a complication of their therapy. Now, I want to be perfectly clear on this subject. If you have depression, please get the help you need, even if it means taking an antidepressant. But if you have depression, also do the things that no medication or no therapist can do for you first. Eat only healthy foods, free of chemicals and processing. Exercise daily. Talk it out with a loved one. Treat your physical pains holistically. Take vitamin D and the B vitamins, fish oil, and SAMe, tryptophan, or St. John's wort. And most certainly, take supplemental magnesium. Magnesium deficiency may play a critical role in the development of dementia. New research reported in the Journal of Neuroscience finds from studies conducted on animals, magnesium deficiency greatly accelerates the development of Alzheimer's disease. The research found supplementing magnesium reversed cognitive decline, and the benefit persisted with continued magnesium supplementation. The researchers also explained how magnesium prevented the development of dementia. The team used mice specifically developed to resemble Alzheimer's disease in humans. Related research, a review of 22 previous studies reported in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition finds magnesium supplementation significantly reduces both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in those with hypertension. And finally, from the Baylor College of Medicine, researchers have found magnesium intake is a better predictor of bone mineral content and density than calcium intake in children. Researchers evaluated 63 healthy children ages 4 to 8. None of the children were taking any dietary supplements. Special techniques were used to precisely measure the amount of calcium and magnesium the children both consumed and absorbed from their diet. Bone mineral content and density was measured using dual energy X-ray absorptometry. The results showed that the amount of magnesium consumed and absorbed were the key predictors of how much and how strong the children's bones were. Well, we are learning more and more about the critical role magnesium plays in our health and well-being. First, magnesium supplementation may help prevent dementia. Now, this was an animal study, so there's more work to be done before we are positive magnesium prevents dementia in humans. But don't wait for that final piece of information, because we know of so many other health benefits provided by magnesium supplementation, such as the finding that magnesium helps to counter hypertension. And finally, from Baylor University right here in Texas, it is learned that it is the magnesium content of a child's diet that predicts how strong their bones will become, not the calcium content as we have assumed for so many years. This explains another recent magnesium study finding from Norway. It is the magnesium intake from our diet and water supply that helps to prevent hip fracture, not the calcium intake as so often assumed. Magnesium, the unsung hero of our health. Well, today on Our Health, on Your Health, Dr. Dennis Goodman joins us. Dr. Goodman is a cardiologist who trained at Baylor University, and he believes in magnesium, so much so he has written a wonderfully informative book, Magnificent Magnesium, Your Essential Key to a Healthy Heart and More. Stay tuned to learn more about how magnesium can change your life.
Savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. I'm Cindy Becker for Your Health at a Glance. We all have said, I need to get some exercise, but how many of us put on our walking shoes and go? Learning a little more about the health benefits of exercise may help you get motivated to lace up those walking shoes. Exercise helps to control our appetite and weight. It maintains strong muscles. It promotes the release of endorphins that counter depression while helping us feel good about our lives. Exercise helps to lower blood glucose, promotes a strong circulatory system, and controls cholesterol. Exercise even helps us get a good night's sleep. Recent research finds dog owners who regularly walk their pet are 34% more likely to achieve fitness goals. You can get all of these health benefits by walking 30 minutes 4 times a week, just 30 minutes a day. Start today, and you'll start to get all those benefits. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Cindy Becker.
Do you believe that nature holds the answer to your health needs? Are you looking for a supplement that's simple and pure, yet really works?
If you're looking for nature's answer to better health, look to Aloha Noni Juice. It's pure and fresh, just like nature intended. Aloha Noni Juice is brought to you direct from the islands of Polynesia.
Aloha Noni Juice is 100% pure with no added sugar or sweet fruit fillers. It's the perfect addition to your low-sugar diet.
Aloha Noni Juice drinkers will tell you their vitality, energy, and sense of well-being have improved, along with relief from many painful conditions. Made by nature, proven by science, Aloha Noni Juice contains only nature's best.
And now you can enjoy the benefits of our new 100% certified organic Noni Juice. Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Welcome back, everyone. It's such a blessing to be with you today, and we're very honored to have Dr. Dennis Goodman with us today. He's a practicing heart specialist who studies and embraces holism. Isn't that fantastic? He received his medical training in South Africa and Pennsylvania, and then completed a fellowship in cardiology at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. He currently is the Clinical Associate Professor of Medicine at New York University and the Director of Integrative Medicine at New York Medical Associates in Manhattan. Today we'll be discussing his book, Magnificent Magnesium, and he will teach us and show us why this is an essential key to a healthy heart and overall good health. Welcome, Dr. Goodman. Thank you for traveling to Texas.
Thank you, Cindy.
And being with us today.
It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. You've come a long way to be with us. We appreciate that very much. Let's get started here. Now, what is this magnesium and what is its essential role in our health and metabolism?
So let's start off, what is magnesium? Magnesium is a mineral and it's inorganic, which means that the body can't produce it. It comes out of the Earth's crust, it comes out of the seawater, but it's essential. And the reason it's essential is that we need magnesium. It's a cofactor, which means it helps to make an enzyme efficient. And we require magnesium to go from ADP to ATP. Now that sounds technical, but what it means is it's an energy block for the cell. Yeah. Every cell in the body requires energy.
Right.
And so if the cells don't function properly, every system's affected.
Yeah. Okay, so is magnesium deficiency or problems with magnesium, is that a common phenomenon now?
It's very common. And when you look for it, you find it. It turns out that probably 3/4 of Americans are deficient.
Whoa, 3 out of 4?
So 80%, a lot of the literature is talking 75 to 80%. And I have been checking magnesium levels in my practice for the last 18 months. I'm finding that. 3/4 of my patients.
You're conducting a study of your own to assess.
Okay. I'm checking magnesium now. You know how the doctors have finally come around to realizing vitamin D is so important.
Right.
So now vitamin D has become one of those things you add to the comprehensive metabolic panel, or when patients have their yearly lab tests. I am adding red blood cell magnesium to that test, and I am finding most people, 3/4, have suboptimal and deficient levels.
You know, doctor, I'm thinking back the stories of grandparents and whatnot. There was a time in this country where you didn't need to take vitamin pills. You went down to the local farmer's market, you bought healthy, good food or raised it yourself, and you were well nourished from what you took. But today, everything has changed. How come our foods are so depleted of these, not just magnesium, but other nutrients as well? Let's talk about that.
You're absolutely right, Richard, and it's a shame. Unfortunately, it's all about economics and money. It costs money to replete magnesium, put it back in the soil. So what happens is the magnesium gets depleted in the soil. Now we're growing these vegetables that can look good on the outside, and they're deficient. And so I tell people, it's not easy, but you want to try to get your vegetable from a place where you most likely not to have a problem with magnesium deficient soil, and that means organic and farmers markets. I mean, we were talking before, you mentioned you put magnesium into your own soil,
yes.
that you have a farm, which is incredible. What's sad is how come the food industry hasn't realized that it's so important to supplement with magnesium, because you're going to help make people healthier, and they're going to be much more likely to run and buy that food if you can say our soil's not magnesium deficient. But you know, the pesticides, the stuff we put in the soil, we don't put magnesium in. We put in phosphates and nitrates. They're fertilizers. That's what fertilizers
You can get
do.
a green plant out of that. Yes.
Absolutely.
But it's an anemic plant, you're saying.
It's anemic.
Yeah.
It's interesting, in 1936, there was a Senate hearing, and they were looking at mineral content in the soil, and there was a hue and cry at that time that we're deficient.
That far back.
And they made the diagnosis, but they didn't come up with a treatment.
So this would imply that if you're just eating a standard American diet, as 200 million plus Americans do, you're in trouble. You're nutrient deficient.
No question. As you know, the standard American diet today is processed foods, lots of carbs and sugar. I mean, we know today, and we're all talking about it, but it's really sad that people don't realize sugar is probably today's cigarette smoking. I mean, there's a lot of people. I
agree with you.
And we're going to find out one day that this sugar is doing as much damage as cigarettes did.
Well, look at the diabetes numbers.
Absolutely.
That's enough to tell you. Okay, who would be most likely magnesium deficient? Are there groups of people of particular concern?
So let's talk about that. Firstly, we should say that already you're talking 3/4 of people are deficient.
3/4. Wow,
So,
this is amazing.
But if you talk about what I call the high-risk groups, it's elderly patients, because they don't absorb nutrients as well. Turns out people who drink alcohol.
Okay.
Alcoholics are magnesium deficient.
You know, there's many people drinking a glass or two of red wine every day, hoping the resveratrol will help them. But that alcohol, you're saying, washes out magnesium?
Absolutely.
It's like a diuretic for magnesium.
Absolutely, it acts as, and you know that. People who drink a lot of alcohol, they're running to the bathroom the whole time.
Yes, that's true.
And they're peeing out magnesium.
Wow.
So that's one group, diabetics.
Diabetics.
Magnesium deficient, most of them. And the irony is that it actually contributes to causing diabetes. And we're going to talk about that.
Wow.
So many health conditions are actually caused and related to and associated with magnesium deficiency. People who take certain medications, diuretics, we know diuretics cause potassium depletion, but they also cause magnesium depletion. So those groups of patients, those groups of people, very, very, very susceptible to getting magnesium deficiency.
In your book, you go to great lengths to describe the effects of chronic stress and how that affects our electrolytes and minerals. Help our viewers understand this process of our daily stress.
I'm glad you brought it up, because that's another group.
Yeah,
I'd like you to be magnesium deficient, and I think I'm going to put my hand up. You know, we all have it.
We all have it, yeah.
And we have to deal with it. When you're stressed, the adrenal has to pump out adrenaline. And when adrenaline's pumping, we know what happens. Your heart has to work harder, your heart rate goes up, and you land up actually becoming hyper, right? And anxious. All these things means that the system gets revved up. You're going to need more magnesium for the cells to function. So stress is a risk factor for magnesium. Now, what's so interesting is that when you take magnesium, you lower that stress level. You lower, you actually...
It's a natural Valium, so to
It's
speak.
a natural anti-anxiety.
Yeah,
And, you know, many people have a problem. We'll talk about symptoms. Sleeping. Insomnia is a common symptom. For magnesium deficiency, if you take your magnesium at night, it helps you to get to sleep.
You know, doctor, when I was a younger man, I used to love to run because, you know, our busy schedules in school, I didn't have hours to exercise. In a half hour, 40 minutes, I could go run and get a great workout, come back and go back to work. And I say this because there's a notion in the world today that if you exercise a lot, you're in great health. Okay, and then I read in your book that if you exercise a lot, you're wasting magnesium out. Go into that. Help us.
Because firstly, one of the reasons you look so good is because you exercised when you were younger. And people don't realize that the more exercise you do, especially middle age, it really helps you. And I talk to a lot of my patients, find out the ones that really went for it in their middle age, and they get to 80 and 90, I say, what's your secret? Oh, I was exercising.
Yes, yes.
And so I just want to remind people, it's crucial. Now let's talk about magnesium and exercise. It's extremely important to exercise, but what you have to realize is that you sweat a lot when you exercise.
Sure.
And you're using so much energy. Your muscles are working hard. I just pointed out.
There's that ATP again.
There's that ATP. Where every time you burn it up, you need to be able to replete it. And it's interesting, I have patients, many patients that are runners and take their exercise very seriously. I had a patient a few weeks ago. He happens to run marathons. He's 60 years old. And I'm not a big fan of marathons for other reasons, but that's what he does. And he told me at mile 22, he starts cramping so badly he can't finish.
Yes.
And I said, you know what, let's check your magnesium level. Let's get you on some magnesium. He came back, gave me a big hug. He said, you cannot believe it, I'm no longer cramping.
The difference.
And that's obviously the extreme of a marathon runner, but it's important when you exercise to realize that you are depleting magnesium. You have to put them together. Magnesium is important for everything, but exercise depletes it. You should make sure that you've got enough magnesium in your system.
Is that something that we naturally lose as we age, so that if we exercise at our age group, then we're going to lose more than in our 20s and 30s when we exercise?
So that's a good point. What's important is you don't absorb as much as you get older.
Okay. It's hard to replace.
Okay, so it's harder to replace it.
Yeah.
And as you get older, unfortunately, there's more likelihood of chronic conditions. So heart disease, diabetes, and that requires more magnesium.
Okay.
So our soils are depleted. Our processed and refined foods take out what little or a lot of what magnesium is left. Our medicines make us lose. Our efforts to stay in good health with exercise make us lose magnesium. Our daily stress that never seems to end makes us lose magnesium. How in the world are we managing? I guess we're not, are we? We're having disease.
It's a great question. You know what people ask me? Well, how do we do okay? You know, what are you making a big deal about magnesium?
Yeah.
And the analogy I give them is, you know, you could drive your car and never change the oil. And you go, oh, so there's no problem. And eventually it catches up with them.
Yes, it does.
And that is what's going to happen. So it's important that even if you don't have symptoms, you're paying attention.
Let's do this. Let's go to our important messages here. But when we return, let's talk about how magnesium deficiency makes you feel, the symptoms of being low in magnesium. We'll be right back.
program is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. I'm Cindy Becker for Your Health at a Glance. Are you looking for a healthy replacement for sodas? For thousands of years, the Far East has enjoyed the many health benefits of green tea. Now the Western world has embraced this potent antioxidant for its many health benefits as both a drink and supplement. Green tea has been thoroughly researched. It's been shown to improve bone density and immunity, as well as levels of cholesterol, blood sugar, and blood pressure. Research has also shown it to decrease inflammation and one's risk of cardiovascular disease and many forms of cancer. One recent study even found that people who drink 5 or more cups a day were 33% less likely to develop conditions that cause disability. For health, it is everyone's cup of tea. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Cindy Becker.
Every day, about 200 million Americans do not get enough of a key essential mineral.
That mineral is magnesium. The typical American diet does not supply enough.
And magnesium is so important. It protects bones and helps more than 300 different enzymes in the human body perform efficiently.
That's why BioInnovations offers chelated magnesium capsules for oral use and topical magnesium gel to be applied to the skin. That's 2 forms of magnesium to meet your daily needs.
Scientific evidence points to chelation as the best method of vitamin and mineral formulation.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health.
Because chances are you are one of the 200 million Americans who need more magnesium every day.
Again, that number is 888-442-2128. Call today. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. We're back, everyone, having a fascinating discussion with Dr. Dennis Goodman about magnesium. Isn't this just amazing? I just love it when we get doctors and really highly acclaimed doctors who embrace holism like this. Dr. Goodman, let's talk a little bit more about the health syndromes and different conditions that might be a result of being low in magnesium, because maybe we don't realize what we're doing and we don't realize we're low.
Right.
Cindy, you're absolutely right, and it turns out there's so much information in the literature now showing that when you're deficient in magnesium, you've got a much greater risk of having heart disease. And heart disease, we mean atherosclerosis. Can I pull my little model out here and just show you? You know, this is an artery. You're born like this. It's nice and open and clean. And with time, you'll end up getting plaque in the
Hold it
artery.
up so the camera can see.
And so we're talking about that being nice and open and clean, and then you get plaque. And then you can see...
That doesn't work too well, that little
doesn't
hole.
work too. So this is what we mean by atherosclerosis.
Is that yellow gooey stuff? That's the plaque?
That's the plaque. And unfortunately, once it starts, it tends to progress. And when you get plaque in these arteries, these are the coronary arteries. You see the red here, supplying blood supply to your heart. This is only about 3 millimeters in diameter. It doesn't take a lot of plaque to start blocking it up.
No.
And that's the atherosclerosis. There's many studies that have shown there's increased risk of atherosclerosis and plaque formation in people who are magnesium deficient. So that's one.
Okay.
Atherosclerosis. Turns out people that are magnesium deficient have a higher risk of heart attacks and strokes.
Oh my.
There was a
number one killer, right? Still, number one
killer for men and women. That's another important point, Richard. Men we understand men, high risk of having heart disease. 1 in 2 men will die from cardiovascular disease. But you know what? It's the same statistic for women. Women are protected up until they're postmenopausal, and then their risk just escalates and gets as high as men. So it's so important. There was a study in the literature, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition 2011, where they looked at 88,000 women from the Nurses' Health Study. Over 26 years, they showed that the women with the highest magnesium levels had a 40% less risk of sudden cardiac death.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So there's just, you know, a plethora of information. So heart disease, that's one. It's a big one. 1 in 2 people will die from heart disease. We're talking diabetes. Is a major health disease that is associated with low magnesium levels. Arthritis. Obesity.
Arthritis? How is arthritis?
Well, think about it. You need magnesium for calcium to work properly. They work in like a symphony. Vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, they all work together. You land up a lot of times, people are taking a lot of calcium and they don't realize you need magnesium as well for healthy bones.
Add vitamin D deficiency to it, and boy,
your vitamin D can't work properly if you don't have magnesium. So a lot of people don't realize they're taking vitamin D, but it's not. It can't get into its active form. As well, if you're magnesium deficient. It's this important cofactor that you require for conversion of vitamin D to its very active
our
form.
major, what about cancer? If you hit cancer, then
I was going to say the immune system is affected.
Okay, yes.
So, you know, there's no question that you're more likely to have...
And I can tell you cancer treatments waste out magnesium. I can tell you that for a fact. I've been through that. Let's talk a little bit how it makes you feel. If I'm low in magnesium, what's my typical day like?
So let's look at the fact that all systems need magnesium. So the first thing you've got to think about, and it's a very common symptom, is fatigue.
Yeah.
People are tired.
They are.
And they put it down to being stressed, didn't sleep well, aging.
Right.
You know, and I say to them, you know what, maybe all your cells are magnesium deficient.
Yeah.
And if you think about one in particular, the red blood cells have a certain shape so that you can maximize oxygen delivery. So you want to hold as much hemoglobin as possible on the red cells. So we have a biconcave disc shape.
Like a donut, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of shaped like a donut.
You want to get as much surface area as possible. When you have magnesium deficiency, the red cell shape is distorted. It can't carry as much oxygen. And so oxygen delivery is reduced.
A complete blood count may show abnormal cell shapes. It could do that.
It could do that.
Okay.
It's just important to realize that we may not even be able to see it under the microscope, but the oxygen delivery is reduced. So that you get less oxygen to your muscles, to your gut, to your heart, to your brain. You're going to be fatigued. So that's important. And then think about it. We're using our muscles all the time. Using our brain, we're using our heart.
Is that why when you exercise you cramp then?
Absolutely. So one of the causes for cramping is that your muscles are firing afterwards, and we need the magnesium to keep you going. And then afterwards you get magnesium depleted, you start cramping. Night cramps, I've had a lot of people get better just by supplementing with magnesium at night. So fatigue's one of the most common symptoms. Muscle, anything to do with the muscle aches, muscle twitches, muscle irritability. And that's why...
What about this restless leg syndrome?
Yes, so you know what, it's a real thing. I've had a few patients that say they're much better with magnesium. It's a miserable
so you're
thing,
saying,
and we've had a hard time treating that.
Right, it's magnesium, not potassium necessarily.
So it's both.
So a lot of people think, oh, I just need potassium, I need potassium.
And you know what, if you don't replete your magnesium with your potassium, not going to get better.
See, but doctors always test for potassium. That's common. The layperson even knows that potassium is critical. They have their orange juice and bananas, but they're not getting this magnesium story.
And one of the problems is testing for magnesium is difficult. Only 1%
let's talk about
of the magnesium in the body is in the serum. So if you do a test that only reflects 1%, doctors kind of, you know, we don't really get a good feeling for what it is. And that's why I use this red blood cell magnesium. But more important than the level is how do you feel?
Right.
And let's just go through some other symptoms. Fatigue, muscle aches, palpitations, headaches, insomnia. Because magnesium helps to stabilize membranes, and it stabilizes nervous membranes as well. And the heart is really using electricity to work properly. You have these very important nerve cells in the heart that help the heart pump. If they're irritable, then you get irregular heartbeats, and that's palpitations.
Palpitations. You know, chronic fatigue is growing in numbers, and you mentioned fatigue, fibromyalgia.
Absolutely. Common. And you know, there's studies that have shown that when you replete with magnesium, chronic fatigue syndrome improves. And that's so important, because if we can do something simple, inexpensive, so much better than, you know, a lot of those patients land up on antidepressants because they become depressed.
Yes.
Let's try something natural first.
Something natural. Add magnesium to the plan for the depression.
Absolutely.
Well, doctor, you know, you have in your book, this book is most impressive, particularly for the cardiovascular disease patient, because you're proposing a theory that, sure, cholesterol plays a role in heart disease, inflammation plays a role, but at its very core is a magnesium deficiency. And that if we were to replace magnesium for our millions of Americans and people throughout the world, we could reduce our numbers of heart disease dramatically. Am I saying that correctly?
I believe that.
Absolutely.
I believe that. I mean, there are many factors, but I think magnesium is one of those factors there.
Yeah. Folks, great book. We have more after these important messages. Stay tuned.
Savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker, and this is Your Health at a Glance. Our health depends on the choices we make every day, and few conditions are as dependent on our choices as diabetes. So here is your daily diabetic checklist. Number 1, take your diet seriously every day. Eat lean protein and leafy vegetables. Number 2, sugars and starches raise blood glucose, so reduce them in your diet. Number 3, check your blood glucose and record the readings every day. Number 4, take your medication daily and don't skip. And number 5, try to exercise every day. It will help you take off weight, which will help your body regulate blood sugar better. If you are diabetic, this is your quick daily checklist that could make life better. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
Are you one of the 62 million Americans suffering from gastrointestinal problems? Do you struggle with other chronic conditions? That's why we offer Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics.
After years of research, we developed a revolutionary probiotic formula with gastrodefense technology. This system protects the good bacteria from stomach acid so the probiotics reach the intestines where they go to work. Additionally, we use live count technology to prolong the shelf life of the probiotics, so there's no need for refrigeration.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics is a powerful combination and one of the most effective formulas available today. And we offer a children's chewable formula too, both at prices you can afford. Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. That number's 888-442-2128. We're back, everyone, talking with Dr. Dennis Goodman about Magnificent Magnesium. And to help you get the magnesium that you need today, I'm telling you, this is fantastic to get this book, Magnificent Magnesium. Your essential key to a healthy heart and more. I mean, it's overall good health, isn't it? But really, this one is fantastic about our heart health. To help you get this book, with your purchase of organic mangosteen case, that's one case of 4 bottles of organic mangosteen, you're going to get the book free. That's today only, so don't miss out on it. A good chance to get this book. You know what? It's a good time to get 2, and that way you can give one to your doctor. That is how we get the message out to the health professionals across the country, is we as patients take books like this to our doctor. Really, they will read it. It's fantastic. Well, Dr. Goodman, let's talk a little bit now about hypertension and magnesium. I think that's one of the ones that we on the show have talked with a lot with our viewers, and I know that they're dying to hear your take on that.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's so important. You know, calcium causes the cells to contract. It causes the muscles to contract. So if you have a lot of calcium, the muscle contracts, this blood vessel lands up contracting, you land up getting high blood pressure. Okay. So magnesium prevents calcium from going into cells and causing contraction.
So it balances that out.
So you need the balance, and that's why if you have a deficiency in magnesium, you're more likely to have high blood pressure.
Hey,
and
wait
in
a
fact,
minute. Wait a minute. We have all these calcium channel blockers. Is this the same
Richard,
thing?
You're spot on.
Go ahead.
There's a group of medication, pharmaceutical medications called calcium channel blockers. It turns out magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker. And so one of the things I like to do in many patients is to try the magnesium, and I've had some great success stories. I had a patient a few weeks ago in his 30s, came in with a lot of anxiety, palpitations, his blood pressure was 160/90. I put him on magnesium, came back 4 weeks later, his blood pressure was 130/80. He said, my palpitations are gone, I feel fabulous. Now, you know, it sounds too good to be true, but when you see it with your own eyes, how can you say, oh, this doesn't work? It works, and it turns out that this guy could easily have been on antihypertensive medication, you know, with a prescription, and now and I checked his magnesium level, it was low, so it all made sense. So one thing that's important, we know hypertension is one of the major risk factors for heart disease, so it all ties in. And that's why we're talking about magnesium being so important, because it adds to other risk factors.
You know, doctor, I have read health experts state that hypertension is the #1 health threat in America.
That's true.
And untreated hypertension can cut your life short by over 20 years. These are true statements from your education and experience.
I would add sugar.
Add sugar to that. And that if we could get more magnesium in our diet, it'd be a great step forward.
Absolutely, and I think it's important we should say that people should see their physicians.
Oh, sure.
And get checked, because a lot of times they don't know what their blood pressure is.
But a standard magnesium serum level isn't going to tell you much unless you're profoundly low, correct?
Exactly, and I think people should know, you're going to ask your doctor to check your magnesium level, get a red blood cell magnesium level.
Okay.
But even then, most people are deficient.
You need it anyway
80%,
every day. You need it.
Take it. But can I just focus on one thing, because I really want people to understand. Eating a healthy diet with the things that contain magnesium's first prize.
Right.
So we must remember that. I always say, let's try to go with the high magnesium content foods. Taking supplements is not a substitute for that. Unfortunately, as we said, when you get these foods, you can still be magnesium deficient. But remember, eating the healthy diet is first, and exercise, and stress management are my 3 pillars to being healthy.
Dr. Goodman, before we go on to the next topic, I just have one quick question on hypertension and magnesium.
Sure.
Now, is this helpful there's different types of hypertension, and I was just wondering if it doesn't really matter the type of hypertension you are. Hypertension's hypertension as far as magnesium goes, but specifically, it seems that postmenopausal women seem to develop hypertension at that point. And would magnesium be something they would want to look at that point?
Absolutely, and what's important to realize, when women get postmenopausal, they lose their protective effect of the estrogens. Right. And so now you land up with all the increased risk of having plaque in these arteries that we're speaking about. You get vasoconstriction, which means the blood vessel tends to contract. So postmenopausal women, it's really important that they supplement as well. And my advice is always start early. Don't wait to be postmenopausal before you think about your risk. Right. The sooner you start eating, exercising properly, and trying to control stress and manage it, the better. But you're absolutely right. They become much higher risk postmenopausal, and that's why we see as women get older, they land up with a sort of shock that they've got heart problems because they felt all along, well, it doesn't really affect me. 1 in 32 women die from breast cancer. 1 in 2 women die from heart disease. And women are very good about going to get their mammograms. You know, 1 in 8 women get breast cancer, but the fact is that heart disease is even more common. So I'm pushing people, go and get checked out and be aware. You can't rely on your estrogens, because when you get postmenopausal.
Right. You know, Dr. Goodman, you know Dr. Steven Sinatra. He's been on this program many times, a cardiologist, and I'm sure our viewers would like to know if your methods are consistent with his, because so many have embraced his methods and they don't want to go against what Dr. Sinatra says. So are you okay? You two together?
He's a big fan of mine because he's holistic, and he was one of the first physicians and cardiologists to really understand integrative medicine. And for me, integrative medicine is taking the best of Eastern and Western, and that's holistic medicine, coming and offering patients whatever there is out there. And the problem is it's so hard for any physician to know it all, but if you embrace other people and you listen, Steve Sinatra's wonderful.
So what you say is consistent with his teaching,
on Magnesium,
we'll be fine.
And I think I agree with you.
Okay, you know, you mentioned that vitamin D and magnesium play a role together, and I read in your book that maybe we shouldn't take vitamin D and magnesium at the same time. When we return from this break, I want you to explain that for us, how magnesium and vitamin D interact. We'll be right back, folks.
May savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Here is our hope for you today. I'm Cindy Becker. Christian counselor Dr. Henry Brandt wrote, "To dwell above with the saints we love, that will be grace and glory. But to live below with the saints we know, well, that's another story." Throughout our lives, we encounter difficult people. These souls challenge the best of us. But the Apostle Paul suggested that we maintain our grace in spite of the actions of others. Paul wrote, "If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." Paul acknowledged it may not be possible in all cases, but we should still do our best. Try to look at difficult people through Christ's eyes. Remember his sacrifice was for everyone, even those saints we know who challenge us. I'm Cindy Becker. This is our hope for you today.
Is your life out of balance? It may be. The average American consumes far too many omega-6s and not enough omega-3s. This creates an imbalance.
So what can we do to get back in balance? We can eat a healthy diet.
And most of us need to supplement with omega-3 rich fish oil. Fish oil contains omega-3s with DHA and EPA, fatty acids that promote good brain and heart health. So reduce omega-6 in your nutritional plan and boost omega-3 to get back in balance.
To help you do that, BioInnovations offers two products, the Fish Oil Complex and Omega-369, both formulated for your health and well-being. So how do you choose? For highest levels of DHA and EPA, choose the Fish Oil Complex. For a balanced formula, choose the 369. Go online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. We're back with Dr. Dennis Goodman talking about his book, Magnificent Magnesium. Fantastic book. I'm telling you guys, this one's a good one. And to help you get this book today, with your purchase of organic mangosteen, that's a case, you're going to get this book free. So don't miss out on it. This one's really a good one. Now, Dr. Goodman, before the break, we were talking about D3. We all have learned how important D3 is. But what about D3 and magnesium, the relationship between the two, and the ins and outs of how you supplement with both?
We know calcium and D, you know, everyone's aware of that, but magnesium plays a role here too.
So they all work together.
Okay.
You need them all. Magnesium fires up vitamin D.
Oh.
It makes it vitamin D puts it into its active form so that it can work properly. If you're magnesium deficient, you raise your parathyroid hormone level, and that sucks calcium out of the bone.
That's trouble.
And magnesium also stimulates calcitonin levels, which help to put calcium into the bone. So we're talking about this balance between calcium and magnesium and vitamin D. They're all about the bones for the most part. Vitamin D's got a lot of other actions, but in terms of the calcium and the bones, it's very important. Turns out 50% of the magnesium in the body is in the bones. People don't realize that. And what's so interesting, an article just came out in Bone Health that showed from Norway that in places where there was deficiency of magnesium in the water, had a higher incidence of hip fractures.
Yep.
Wasn't related to calcium.
See, that's the thing.
So we're fighting all the time that magnesium is so important, and it's a really important thing to tell
the
people.
milk industry, don't you think? I mean, they have a good lobby group.
And I just think
good for them.
I got no problem, but let's add some magnesium. And you got to tell people that, everybody, a lot of women focused on taking calcium. Studies were starting to come out that maybe it's causing heart disease. What I think is happening, you're getting unopposed magnesium, unopposed calcium. If you give some magnesium, you get the right balance. We used to think that you should give 2 to 1. In other words, double the amount of calcium to magnesium. It's probably not true. It's better to be 1 to 1 or even 1 to 2. So if you're taking 1,000 milligrams of calcium, you should be taking 1,000 milligrams of magnesium if you can tolerate it.
That's good advice. Should we split our doses of magnesium and vitamin D, or can we?
I think the thing to do is to try to take your magnesium either at night or on an empty stomach, because it helps you sleep, and you take your vitamin D separately.
Let's talk about some of the best dietary sources. What are the foods we can emphasize to help bump up this mag?
So let's talk about the green leafy vegetables at the top of that list.
Right.
And so we're talking spinach, Swiss chard, legumes, and so things like seeds and nuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds, hazelnuts.
So, people think that that's fattening, but it has good fats in it.
Good fats, exactly. And you know that. That's another whole show. The fact is we're beating on the fats, and good fats are very important. It's the carbs and the sugar.
Carbs and the
are
sugar.
the bad guys today, and I think that
we need to have you come back to talk about fats.
I would love to do that.
But today it's magnesium. Good magnesium sources.
So we're talking about these green healthy vegetables. Certain fish, turns out halibut, a good source of fish.
My favorite fish.
Right, and tuna. I can recommend a website called WH Foods, worldhealthfoods.com, WHF.com, I think it is. And I like it because it's really non-biased, and it just gives you all the list of the foods and how much magnesium there is in each one.
Wonderful. Information's everything.
So, we got to go and take a list and cut out the little, the little table, and you'll see what's important. Because if you're eating, when we talk about snacking, snack on some sunflower seeds, snack on some pumpkin seeds, and, eat some, and the raw foods is even better. One of the things I'm sure you know is if you're going to boil the spinach and then you throw the water away, you throw away a lot of the...
a lot of nutrients.
So I'm a big believer that juicing, is a good way to get your foods raw, and you want to try to do that 3 times a day. And vegetable juicing is fabulous.
Okay, due to the fact that so many of us are taking medicines that may be wasting away our magnesium, and then we're exercising and the stress and all the things that lead up to this, many of us will need to supplement. Tell us the best way to supplement, what type, because there are many types of magnesium. Let's go into that for a minute.
You're absolutely right. And I think what we've got to remember is the key is to get your magnesium levels up. And it doesn't really matter how you do it. And there are lots of ways you can do it. I think the easiest way is to take supplementation with tablets, but there's topicals, transdermals. Epsom salts is a perfect example. You can take a cup and put it in your bath and soak twice a week. You'll be amazed.
That's an old-time remedy that is so helpful for so many things.
Exactly, including taking a teaspoon and putting it in your pot plants. Your plants want the magnesium as much as we do. It's essential for chlorophyll to function properly. So that's one. And then taking supplements. Of course, there are tons of different magnesium supplements out there on the market. I know you have a good one. But the important thing is, I think, that you understand some of them, because magnesium can't exist on its own in the blood, in the body. It has to be attached to something. So anything that ends in ATE, for example, malate, threonate, glycinate, tends to be better absorbed. Magnesium hydroxide is a laxative.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. So milk of magnesia is actually magnesium hydroxide. So if you're having problems with the bowels, discuss it with the doctor, because you may be on the wrong form of magnesium. I use one called Jigsaw. It's magnesium malate because it's got a slow release technology. And the reason that's important is if you're having trouble tolerating it, because the only real side effect is loose stools. The slow release prevents that.
You know, doctor, I remember back in my days of doing nursing home care, every day a cart with milk of magnesia would go through the aisles of the nursing home, and they'd dose almost every nursing home resident with their daily dose of milk of magnesia for regularity. Now, my question is, many have learned to use milk of magnesia to stay regular. Because is it okay to consider that a source of supplemental magnesium too?
Such a great question, Richard. You know why they're having loose stools? The magnesium's not being absorbed.
Yeah.
The magnesium's sitting in the bowel and it's sucking fluid in. It's not a good...
So that's pushing through. You're not going to absorb much of that.
Exactly. And so it's not, I believe, even though unfortunately, and I probably know this, a lot of the supplements out there that you just get over the counter are the oxide preparation because it's cheapest.
Yes.
I'm not saying you shouldn't use it, but just be aware that that's the one that has... The absorption is not as good. So
amazing.
It's really important that people realize you've got to find a way. You can put it in topical, you can go in Epsom salts, you can take supplement, and you know what you'll find out? You're going to feel better. Because that to me is the most important thing.
That's what I want to know next. How long does it take to feel better? We'll talk about that when we return.
Savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker for Your Health at a Glance. High cholesterol raises your risk for cardiovascular disease, but it's just one risk factor among many. And the need to lower your cholesterol can be over-exaggerated. Everywhere in the media, we see advertisements for cholesterol-lowering prescription drugs. It's a big business. Now, cardiovascular disease kills more Americans than any other disease, so we need to pay attention to all the risk factors for heart disease. Here's a prevention strategy. Besides lowering your cholesterol, treat high blood pressure. Stop all tobacco, manage diabetes, exercise regularly to stay fit, avoid sugar, eat fish and fresh fruits and vegetables. Take your daily vitamin and use omega-3 oils. Address all your risk factors, not just your cholesterol. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker. Every day, about 200 million Americans do not get enough of a key essential mineral.
That mineral is magnesium. The typical American diet does not supply enough.
And magnesium is so important. It protects bones and helps more than 300 different enzymes in the human body perform efficiently.
That's why BioInnovations offers chelated magnesium capsules for oral use and topical magnesium gel to be applied to the skin. That's 2 forms of magnesium to meet your daily needs.
Scientific evidence points to chelation as the best method of vitamin and mineral formulation.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health.
Because chances are you are one of the 200 million Americans who need more magnesium every day.
Again, that number is 888-442-2128. Call today. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Your Health is brought to you by BioInnovations, trusted products for your health and well-being. We're back, everybody, discussing Magnificent Magnesium, and I've got to remind you to get this book today. This is a great book. So with your case of organic mangosteen, you're going to get this book free, and that's today only, so don't miss it. Get your order in early. Well, Dr. Goodman, time is short, but I know a question that everyone out there has is, so I start, I have the symptoms that you previously discussed, and I'm starting to supplement with magnesium. I'm getting some more in my diet. How long should I expect to start feeling better or feel the effects of taking the supplemental magnesium?
It's a great question, Cindy, and you know what's, I was shocked myself because I had patients who came within a day or two telling me they feel better. I was expecting, like most time with medications, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, antidepressants 6 weeks. And I had one woman in particular who hadn't been sleeping for years, said, good dose of magnesium. She called me the next day. She said, the best sleep I've had in years. So it can work that quickly.
Isn't that amazing?
And obviously, when it comes to fatigue and things like that, it may take 2 to 4 weeks. But I think people can feel the benefits right away.
So they really need to work with their doctor because they're going to have to adjust medications.
I agree with you. Very important. And people that are taking medications, speak to your doctor. There's certain medications that are affected by magnesium. We spoke about calcium channel blockers. If you're on a calcium channel blocker and now you take magnesium, you may be able to reduce the dose.
Absolutely, yeah. Doctor, I think, is it true that there is a small group of people who will need injections of magnesium? They're so low and so depleted that orally isn't enough. Is there a small group, or tell us that? So,
I'm going to give you a personal story. A few weeks ago, I get migraine headaches. I got the most terrible migraine. I actually couldn't work properly. I had to go, so I like to find holistic doctors, and I went to see the holistic neurologist up the road from me, and he gave me 1 gram of intravenous magnesium. Within 2 hours, my headache was gone. And the data supports that, 80% of people will get it better after an intravenous. And this, I'm going to put out a pitch for him. His name's Dr. Mouskop in New York. He's written stuff about migraines. This is a guy that's done the studies. I'm not saying you should go and get this.
Well, not everybody needs
it, but I was just saying, they said to me, we have some patients with such bad migraines, they come every 3 months or so, and they get a kind of bolus.
Yeah, kind of like a B12.
But that was the first time that I've done that, and I can tell you I was kind of shocked that I let myself do that, but when you've got a terrible headache and it goes away.
You need relief.
So I think most people, if you work at it with the supplementation, with the topicals, and then have your level checked, if your doctor, will do that for you, and I'm sure he will, and then you'll see that it'll go up.
Did you have a personal experience in your life that got you interested in magnesium? In what little time we have left?
So I was very Western trained, and unfortunately we don't get a lot of nutrition. But I was at Scripps Memorial. I was the chief of cardiology there in 2000 to 2005. And I started to realize I'm putting stents in. I'm trying to treat people with heart attacks. But I started to feel, how do we prevent this? I don't want to just be the fireman who actually comes putting out the fire.
So you saw
and I switched over to Scripps Integrated Medicine, Scripps Clinic Integrated Medicine. It's all about the holistic approach, where you've got time, and you have to have time to sit and talk. And then I actually went and really studied these nutrients, the micronutrients, and actually came up with a multivitamin of my own. But I can tell you that there's just so much out there that's natural. And I'm a big believer. Let's go natural first.
Well, doctor, you've done a wonderful job. Magnificent Magnesium, your essential key to a healthy heart and more. Folks, this needs to be in your library. It's in mine, and it should be in yours, too. Doctor, will you come and speak with us again? We love you already. You're a great guy. Great guy, great attitude, great voice, everything.
Keep up the good
wonderful
work you're doing.
material.
That's right.
Folks, thank you for joining us here at Your Health. Hope to see you again here tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hippocrates once said, "Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food." So why do 9 out of 10 of us not eat enough vegetables daily? It's because we don't always know how to incorporate this practice into our busy lives. Instead of removing bad foods, start by adding healthier foods you prefer. You'll soon discover better foods you love will crowd out unhealthy cravings. It's not crazy, just healthy.
You know, the world is changing. You watch it on television every day. It's unbelievable. It's unthinkable.
Today on Love a Child, we are helping people. No matter what is going on all around the world and all the bad reports you hear, there's good reports.